Hello, listeners. In this content, I will share a scary story based on a real experience experienced by a source. What's the story? Let's start. Make sure you don't hear this story alone and prepare your mentality before listening to this story.
This story is an original story from a woman, and we will just call her Manda. Manda is a student, and she has just moved to a boarding house in the city of Bandung, Indonesia. In her room, if we look at the boarding house window, you will see a very beautiful river. When she first stayed at the boarding house, Manda always felt mystical things happening in her room. So Manda always invited her friends to visit the boarding house she had just lived in. Manda always heard a lot of strange sounds from the window facing the river. Manda felt very lonely at night, perhaps because of the lack of meaningful entertainment for her, so she felt very lonely. That night, in order not to feel too lonely at the guest house, Manda chatted with her friend about the many challenges of college, considering that she had just started studying at that campus. It didn't even feel like night until it was already 11 p.m. at night. He was even surprised that the last time he looked at the clock was only 08 p.m. Maybe because his work kept him busy, so he didn't look at the clock. That night, he only heard the sound of... He felt that maybe it was a normal sound that he heard. The woman was sleeping together with her friend. Morning arrived. While she was sleeping soundly, she was even woken up by her friend. Manda started her day smoothly. She also bought instant food to eat when she arrived at her boarding house. While watching TV, she ate instant food. This time, she was alone in the boarding house. The woman even wanted to sleep quickly because she felt very quiet in the house. After she ate instant food, she heard another strange sound like yesterday, namely the sound of... This time, she tried to look out the window with great doubt. A shadowy figure was seen crossing the river near the boarding house. She was very surprised after seeing the shadow passing through the river, and she immediately got ready to sleep so that tomorrow morning she would wake up quickly. She also slept restlessly. That night just passed by. In the morning, Manda woke up. It was still 05 a.m. in the morning, and she started her day as usual, namely going to college. She also invited her female friend again so that it wouldn't be as lonely as yesterday. Her friend also agreed, maybe because her college was further away if she went from her house, whereas if she went from the boarding house, it was close to her college, even though it was still far away. After arriving at the boarding house, she told him about the image she saw last night, but after that they both forgot about it by joking around while watching TV. Night came. That night, it didn't feel like it was 11:30. The two of them were busy chatting, and that night a strange sound was heard. This time it felt very loud, like it was close. The sound was the same as the previous day. This time the atmosphere was very tense. The atmosphere of horror felt like they were both hesitant to look towards the window, but they were very curious and they both dared to look at the window. Manda was so shocked that her heart seemed to be about to fall out after seeing directly in front of her eyes a woman dressed in red because of blood or whatever. She said, "Oh my God." That was the only word that came out of her mouth. His friend was just as shocked as the woman. Time seemed to take a long time because they were both afraid and couldn't move as if their entire bodies were locked. The figure of Kunti was disturbing him with frightening sounds. Finally, in the mouths of the two women, they could scream loudly, "Help! Help us! Please don't disturb us!" A loud voice came out of the two women's mouths. From outside the boarding house mother heard the screams of her boarding house children. The other boarding house children also came out because they were shocked by the noise from outside their room. They all came to the woman's boarding room, and the Kunti was gone after that loud scream. the two women closed their eyes so as not to be too afraid, even though it was very scary. The landlady and other boarding house children came into the room shocked to see the two women in the corner of the room with their hands covering their eyes. The landlady told Manda and her friends that a murder had occurred near the river that killed a young woman who was pregnant out of wedlock, and the woman's body was thrown into the river. So many strange things happened in the river, even when the landlady gave them an empty room. The woman was doubtful because the bedroom window faced the river, which was thought to be haunted. The end.
That's all the scary story this time. Remember, before you sleep, don't forget to check the windows, wardrobe, and under your mattress for no creatures. We'll see you again in the next story. If you like this story, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you have activated the bell on this channel so you don't miss the next scary story.